Hi guys, welcome back. This is Bingu Choom in K-pop tunes. I'm Choom, also known as Reina,
And I'm Bingu, also known as Lacey.
and today we have another recap episode for you. We are going to talk about everything that happened in the fall of 2019 K Entertainment.
Oh, yeah. Let's go.
Yeah. So just a reminder to everyone listening that we don't claim to be experts or professionals on the topics discussed. If there's any information in the episode or through our research that is presented incorrectly or just out of date, please let us know. We are just two fans sharing our personal opinions while trying to be informative, but we're just here to have fun, basically. So, Bingo, are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Are you sure you're ready? Because this is going to be a heavy episode.
Yeah, I read through
Um,
your outline and it's a lot. And um, it's a lot.
I feel like the fall, I tried to find happy things, but all I could find that was happy was like the very end, my last point that I put
Mhm.
down. That was like the only happy thing that I could find that had happened. Um, I tried really hard and I was just like, nope, we just had a bunch of dead serious months.
Life isn't all that great. And I mean, whatever is happening at that time is happening at that time.
And August to October, November was insane, to be completely
I feel like
honest.
2019 was pretty crazy.
Yeah, 2019 was pretty crazy. I feel like we haven't had a crazy K-pop year like that since maybe like 2013, 2014. We can talk about that in another episode. We could do a decade of K-pop episode
That'd
now
be
that we're
so
in
hard.
2020 now.
That'd be so
That
hard.
would. We would have to do like a bunch of episode or just do rapid
They'd be
fire. This
like,
happened, this happened, this happened.
this is the fifth part in the episode. We're tired.
We're halfway through the year. Why are we on
I
part
thought this was
5?
about updated stuff.
A decade episode would be pretty cool though. Like the
We
most
can't have
important
any
or like the
emotion.
most
All we have to do is just list out what we like, and that's it. We can't talk about anything else. We list it and we end it.
we
Yes.
move on. That would be too hard. I don't think either of us could
No.
do
Are you?
it.
No. That's a trap. I am not falling for that.
A decade of K-pop though. We should do an episode about it. Maybe just not like everything that happened in a decade. We can talk about how about we talk about our experience as fans for a decade
I
of
guess we
K-pop.
should, because
That one
that's like that decade was our decade.
That was. Okay, cool. We brainstormed at the beginning of this episode for
You
our
guys like
next
that?
episode that's coming
Do
up
you like
soon.
us? Like, at least we don't talk for 20 minutes and then get into the episode.
Yeah, I've listened to podcasts that do that and I get bored halfway through.
Yeah,
I'm like, wait, what was the point of this
I definitely
anymore?
skip.
Sometimes they talk though, and I'm like, this is interesting, even though I have no idea
No,
what you're talking
man.
about.
The people I listen to, I'm just like, girl, I should not care about this.
At least our ramblings are still podcast related.
They're
It's
topic
still
related,
K-pop.
so that's good. They talk
Yeah.
about, like, they just talk about irrelevant stuff. Let's get into the first topic.
Okay. So I'm breaking it down by months again.
Mhm.
I will probably do most of the talking just to warn you guys, the audience, because as we have established, I am the more
Informed.
informed. I was going to say established again, and I was like, I really don't want to be a repetitive. As of right now, I am the more informed
Mhm.
K-pop fan, so I will be doing most of the talking and we will discuss as we did last time. So for August, the main topic was Ahn Jaehyun and Goo Hyesun, the divorce mess that they had. This was actually not as heavy as a topic as some of the others, but it was kind of funny just because I was watching it play out and I was like, what the heck is going on? Because I know these two actors. So they met in 2015 on the vampire K drama Blood. I never watched it. It's on my to watch list, but now with everything going on, I don't even know if I will watch it. But 2016 was like a big year for vampire dramas, and they met on the set, and the drama was pretty popular. It's like a really good melodrama mystery sort of
Mhm.
mix. And then they married a year later in 2016, and they were actually a really popular couple. Like Song Joong Ki and his wife, who recently got a divorce too, they were like that status of really popular drama couple.
Oh man, I do remember that.
So it kind of sucks, but this whole divorce mess turned into a like they could have written a whole drama on it, like a melodrama, and just put it on air. It was so much back and forth of he said, she said. She was playing victim a lot. She first made a post on either Instagram or some social media warning her fans that her husband, Jaehyun, had been cheating on her and wanted a divorce. And not the other way around. And she was warning them basically like rumors are about to be spread, but I still love him and I don't want the divorce. Like we're going to stay together, blah blah blah. So it was a lot of like she was trying to gain people's sympathy and kind of ignore the whole like he wants a divorce, but it's all his fault because somewhere along the way in like the legal battle,
Mhm.
he wasn't budging, so she switched her whole entire narrative. Claimed he beat her while he was drunk. Claimed he had an affair. Claimed they couldn't divorce because of the custody of their cat. And she just kind of went into crazy ex-girlfriend mode on social media, like was just playing the victim to the utmost extent.
So was she the one that just really wanted the divorce?
No, she didn't want a divorce at all. He wanted to divorce because I'm assuming I the way she like played everything up on social media, I'm kind of on his side. There's proof that he didn't have an affair. Like there's text messages that kind of state like no, this is where I was at this time, like you're making this up
Mhm.
sort of thing. But a lot of this news just like went radio silence after a while, so I don't know entirely what happened towards the end. But he wanted the divorce. She didn't. She drug her feet the entire time. And then something switched and she started claiming that like he was a terrible person and he was beating me, he had an affair. I can't divorce him because what's going to happen to our cat? She was very upset about the cat.
You know that's a real thing though.
I know, but
Like
I was just I laughed. I was like, "The cat is what you're worried about?"
I mean, you love your cats. You never know. Like, I watch a YouTuber and that happened to her. Like the same, they divorced and she couldn't bring the cats with her, and she had to move back to Japan, and she couldn't bring the cats with her. She was really depressed about it.
Oh, that kind of sucks. Yeah, that is sad. It's just
I don't know her story. I don't know their
I don't
relationship.
know, the narrative that the narrative she was playing, and, like, if you had seen how she literally went into crazy ex-girlfriend mode, Lacey, it was insane, and so at the end, like, after she had claimed he was cheating, after she had claimed he beat her, she said all of these serious things, and then at the very end, the very last straw, it was, "We can't divorce because of the cat." That was that was just a cycle of events. That's the
But her
way
cat.
it came. I know, but she claimed he was a terrible person and did all of these things first, and then at the very, very end, the very last like attempt to get him to stay was the cat. That's just so funny to me. Anyways, at the end of it, nothing changed. Refused to budge. She continued her crazy narrative. Then she did another complete 360, said she hated him this entire time, never loved him, this entire time. It was all a ploy. She wanted to destroy him, like word for word. She said that she wanted to destroy him. Um,
Why get married?
and so at that point though, it was like I think they were in like a honeymoon phase because they met on a drama set. I think it was that sort
Uh,
of thing. But at that point, at the end, she switched her narrative again, did a complete 360 again, and I was just like, what's the truth? And in the process of all of it, because he stayed quiet and let the legal team handle it, she completely tore apart her public image. So literally no one
I
likes her
mean, she did
anymore.
that all herself.
Yeah, I know. It's dumb though. Like looking at it, I feel bad for her in a way because it's like if you just shut up and handled it behind the scenes.
If you, yeah, if you weren't so engrossed with social media, you you just shouldn't have said anything.
Yeah, she shouldn't have said anything. And then she changed her story so many times that she was basically the boy who cried wolf. Like, no one likes her anymore. No one believes her. And I just still think the funniest part of it all is she said all of these terrible things about him, pretty much called him scum of the earth. And then to get him to stay, the very last straw was do it for the cat.
Oh my God. Well, he's just gonna find someone that's better for him, and maybe she'll have the cat, and that's enough for her.
I hope it works out. I in their prime they were both really good actors. I don't know if he'll act again or if he is
Hmm.
acting. Um but I did like him, and now it's one of those things where it's like they're probably going to be inactive for a while because of everything that just happened and the way the public views them. But
It's hard to say
I
how
hope he
the image would affect them though. Like, because Korea is so different culturally that I don't really know. Like, obviously, she's gonna be looked at in a different light. Um, and I feel like maybe if she wasn't so crazy about it, people would probably still look at her crazy more than they would him because he's a man.
yeah.
And I feel like that's what typically happens. It's just kind of like sometimes it's always looked at as a woman where they're just like, well, now what are you gonna do? Like you're gonna be lonely forever type of thing. That's what I get from the culture.
Yeah.
Whereas the man is just like, oh, you can just find somebody else. It's gonna be great. Just I don't know, whatever guys say. But hopefully it works out. I don't. Maybe she needs help. Maybe she'll just look back on this moment and be like, wow, it was really crazy. That was insane. Needed to take a detox from social media.
I feel like she just needs a mental break. I maybe it was just the stress of the entire situation that got to
Hmm.
her. I feel like a divorce is always going to be mentally and emotionally draining because there was going to be a point where you guys loved each other. I feel like if you got married, you had to have loved each other at some point.
I would hope
So
so.
I don't know, maybe there was just like that weird, well not weird, but that the honeymoon phase was over, reality was setting in, and I think everything that happened, there must have been just high tensions, and that's why it turned into a he said, she said sort of argument going back and forth.
Yeah, because how long did they date?
A
Oh, that
year.
wasn't even that
They
long.
literally,
Yeah, what made you
yeah,
think?
no, they literally got married. They met in 2015 and then they married in
What made you
2016.
think that was gonna work? That is so fast. That is so fast for you to not know anybody and to know them. They probably known each other for less than that. If they met in 2015, they probably barely like spoke to each other. And then the more they hung out together, they're just like, oh, she's just so enduring. Like, oh, he's such a gentleman, and he's such a mystery. And they get married, and now they're like actually living together. And I don't know. It's just like you keep the toilet seat up all the time, and I'm so tired of it. I am so tired. And you don't feed the cat. You don't even wash the cat. That's probably the arguments that they have with each other. Like, just because I'm a woman doesn't mean you can just come home and look at me to cook and blah blah. Maybe I don't know. Like he could be like, "Well, you don't even make the bed. I'm always making the bed."
At least he popped off.
But I mean, I'm giving like legit reasons. Like if you've never
Yeah,
dated,
no, but
like if
it's
you barely
also
dated and you suddenly moved in with each other, that's I feel like moving in is a whole nother test. Like you really understand what a person is like when you move in with that person.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I do think it's dependent though on like specific people too, because like my mom and dad got married, I think after 6 months of knowing each other. My dad was in the Navy, so he was back and forth from um the
Hmm.
ship, and he was like between the ship and between land, and so their dates happened when he was back from the ship. So I don't know. I feel like certain situations play into that, and certain people and the way they were raised, and also the time period, because like my parents got married a long time
Yeah, this is a
ago.
whole nother generation.
Yeah, so I feel like there's different things that play into it, but I also think because it's a divorce, divorces are never like just a clean cut sort of thing. Like there's going to be really high level emotions involved in it. And so maybe she just got to a point of max stress and that's why she went crazy on social media. I'll give her the benefit of the doubt and say like maybe that was
Hmm.
it. But it was crazy. And the cat, I hope the cat's okay. I hope the cat wasn't affected by any of
I'm sure the cat is gonna be fine.
this. You don't know that, Lacey. The cat could be emotionally cats form emotional attachments, Lacey. You don't know.
Okay, he's probably hiding under the bed. Like, I'm gonna let you figure that out.
This could have been traumatizing for the cat.
I'm sure they tried to cover it up for the cat's best interest.
For the cat's sake. Okay, you want to know what happened in September? You're not going to be surprised about this at all.
This is something I know about. I feel like everything else on this list is what I know about. Like I've read or I've seen it.
That's good. I didn't think you'd know the first one just because that was like I wasn't even sad. At this point I was angry because
This one just made me even more sad.
the people involved now are underage kids. Like I wanted to get on the next plane to Korea and just break break
Yeah, but like then think about what the previous groups have literally been put through. Like they've probably been put through the
oh
same
the previous
thing.
groups. Yeah, no, I know. And like okay, so for September we have confirmed that TS Entertainment is literal scum of the universe. So the situation that Lacey and I are talking about right now is tracing. Um, in November, news broke that two of the members filed for a lawsuit because of abuse and violence against them. Wooyup and Taesun revealed that they were being physically abused by both choreographers and managers, and they provided video and photo proof of it. And then there's also proof of like text messages between expenses for the living conditions in the apartment not being up to par, and that their parents were paying to feed them and replace the broken appliances in the apartment and things like that. And basically, it reminded me a lot of Block B's living situation when they filed for their lawsuit against Stardom back in 2016, I think it was. It was just like an updated 2019 version, except only yeah, except younger. Because I was gonna say I think all of Block B were adults at that time. They were still young, but they were adults at that time. Uh, this everybody in tracing is underage. So
That's
yeah,
just
it
crazy.
does make you
Literal
think.
kids.
Yeah, literal kids. Like it makes you think about like what about BAP, Zello, like the members from other TS groups. But I don't
Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. Like I can't imagine.
and like it reminded me of Block B, but like even then they were older. They were still young, like late teens, barely adults, but they were still older. These are all like 15, 16, 17. They're kids. And it does, yeah, now that you say that, it does put it into perspective. Like, what the heck?
Because maybe like these other groups didn't have as much evidence, or maybe they did and they just didn't put it out to the public because it just wasn't a thing. But like you read all these messages about what's been going on, and like, what if, like, what the heck? What else have y'all been doing?
Yeah.
Like, you're letting the parents pay for a living. Like, when you're supposed to be providing everything and then the kids have to go to the parents for it, like that doesn't make you, how does that not make you nervous? I just don't really get the mentality.
How does it and staff that are working for them, I always wonder like what kind of mindset are you in to know that this is happening and be okay with it? To work for this company and be
Well, I mean, you have to put, I can understand why people just won't say anything. Cuz if I was working there and I was seeing what was going on and I were to say something, I could possibly lose my job because no one else wants to say anything. You're like, "Oh, well like maybe if it was like 5 people that wanted to say something." Like what makes you not think that the company's just going to fire them and hire new people for them not to say anything? Like maybe they're barely just getting by and this job is all that they have and they don't want to say anything for it.
I can understand
'Cause they,
just because of the way the human mind works, but like me as a person, I wouldn't be able to do that.
I'm just saying,
No,
like
I
I
know.
get it.
I get it too because of the way like the human mind works, but I couldn't know that underage kids are being beaten with metal chairs and be okay with that. And that was one of the crazy things that did happen. Like that one they had either video or photo proof of someone recorded the kid getting hit with the chair, and that was just like that's when I stopped being sad about like, oh, this is coming out of TS Entertainment and like being disappointed, and that's when I got like angry and was just like, you know, TS should just not exist anymore ever.
Of course not.
I mean, never, but now it like sealed the deal because like beforehand it was BAP's lawsuit, Sleepy from Untouchable, the legal battle saying that the company was like not paying him and stealing his money straight out of his wages, and his manager was taking his advances. And then Sonamu's 2 members that filed for the lawsuit for the exact same thing as Sleepy for not getting paid. And then TS basically was like, oh, you're slandering our name, and they dropped him from the group. It was mostly money stuff at first.
I just don't, I was pretty much done. I was very much done after Sleepy put out his statements. And I was like, everyone's getting shit from this company.
Yeah, no.
Like, no one is being treated fairly
Yeah.
in the company. So when they spoke up about it, I was just like, well, what are these other groups? You can't tell me these other groups are being treated better.
Yeah.
Like that doesn't
I
make
think what got it from me though is
sense.
I was never okay with them, but up until November, it was all money issues. It was all we're not getting paid. We're having to pay for things out of pocket. Our money is being stolen from our paychecks. Like it was money. Now it became a matter of I lost the word.
Of abuse?
Well, yeah, but like it became physical at the when as it reached November, it became physical. Like there's actually proof now that they're being physically abused. Like it was never
I don't understand
okay.
that
I
treatment.
don't need it was and that's what I'm saying. It was never okay. Like they were stealing money from their artists. That was never okay. But up until November, it was just money. And every time that it was something new, I was just like, dang, TS is just at it again, stealing people's money. And then these 2 boys came out and said that they were being beaten. And I was like, okay, this just stepped up a whole new level.
It's all just horrible.
It is.
And it was all just a matter of time. So I can't imagine TS lasting any longer, especially since kids are underage kids are involved. So I don't know how this could just be ignored now, cuz before it could be pushed under the rug because from what releases were saying it was just money. Cuz maybe I don't I just don't really get how this company is still prospering when they're stealing all this money and they're probably in debt. Because why else would you be doing this? Like you're trying to keep up with expenses and you can't keep up with them, so you got to steal from your artists just to pay everybody other than the artist,
Yeah.
barely pay them, and then what? Like I don't know. It's insane to me. other people try to stay around for it. I
That big sigh is a mood.
just don't really get how they can figure they can keep getting away with stuff like that. Like it's happened to literally all your artists, like minus one group, I think.
Yeah, maybe if that. I mean, Secret was also in on the
Yeah,
whole thing, like on the whole, like suing them for something, which is crazy because
and if
now
they
that's
if
over, and the member that was doing it, I don't even remember who it was. They're suing her back now. Like everything for the first half ended, and now they came back and they're like, by the way, we're gonna sue you again for defamation, defamation, however you say that word. They came,
they're such a
yeah,
hoe,
seriously.
like defamation, you did that to yourself.
Yep.
Maybe if you didn't treat your artist like shit.
I just thought that was wild though. Like, who was it? Hyosung, I think, from Secret, was suing them. Like that whole the money hole thing happened, and then it finally ended. They got things sorted out, and then TS a couple months ago came back and they were like, "We're gonna sue her again for slandering our name." And I was like, "Are you?"
So what, you're gonna do the same thing with Sleepy in the boy group? Like, are you just gonna do it for everybody then?
I maybe knowing them, I would not be surprised.
Like, was her saying those statements the biggest impact? Like, did she have the biggest impact on how bad TS was? Like, it was just that bad you had to sue her for defamation? I just don't understand this logic. It's just all dumb. Like, what makes you think you can get away with it? So, it's literally a matter of time until companies start getting in trouble for stuff like this. Like, the internet is too powerful.
Yeah,
It's too powerful at this point. You can't hide anything.
pretty much.
If
Uh,
Hyuna can get canceled for some braids, these companies can catch
need,
some of the
need to get canceled for stealing money.
and abusing
It's
kids, like for real.
long overdue.
Well, I hope everyone gets their money that they
It's
deserve.
been I haven't been following what's happened with those kids. I'm not like a huge fan of tracing, but obviously TS was involved, so I was like, what the heck is going on? But I haven't looked up what happened since then.
Leaving kids in the cold with no heat or AC in the summer, and them having to beg their parents for an AC unit or a heater unit or to scrounge around for some food. Like, and getting abused over it. Like, how are you guys surviving exactly? Like, how is anyone over there
How
surviving?
are they doing their schedules? And schedules are insane. Like,
That's what I'm saying. Like, how are you doing all of these like performances and shows? Like, how are you guys able to get through any of that?
I don't know. That was another thing, hearing like that they weren't being fed, that sort of thing. I was just like, how are they doing their schedules? Schedules are grueling. Sometimes they work 24 to 48 hours straight and like have to nap between stages, that sort of thing, or like sleep in the car. How are they doing that without being fed?
It's not the life for me.
No, definitely not. I need my food.
I need my rest. I literally can't do anything without
Yeah, no, I
rest.
need sleep. I would just pass out.
I'd be the crankiest idol ever.
Nobody would
Be like,
like you.
she's mean.
No,
She's always
no
mean.
one would invite you to anything.
She's always snappy and a smart ass. Like, you're damn right, because I don't have sleep. So kudos to the people that go through it, but not me. I'm not. No, no.
Okay, ready for the heaviest?
Even a heavier
we're,
topic.
we're going from one thing, or just going straight down into the pitfall.
This should have been. I don't know. I think you mixed this stuff good. I don't know. Go ahead. Oh. Oh, well, you know what? Before you go into the topic, this is just a warning for everyone.
Oh,
This deals with suicide. So we'll put a timestamp to when we stop talking about it, so you can skip to it. Because I know it makes some people very uncomfortable and triggered. So there's your warning.
Dang, I don't even know how to start with this one, except that October sucked.
We lost 2 lives in that month.
Well,
Um,
Hara was
or
technically, yeah,
within,
within a month.
well, not too far apart.
Sulli passed away on the 14th, and then a month later, her best friend Hara passed away on the 24th. And that was just kind of crazy. I,
I don't know if it was crazy. It was just honestly just really fucked up.
I think that's what I mean by crazy, is because I'm just looking at it a month between them, and it was just two idols specifically that got some of the worst hate throughout their career.
Hmm. Social media hate.
Yep. For being
And I
themselves.
feel like, yeah, and I feel like this was just, it was plain as day. And the amount of hate they got was just, I just don't understand how people on the internet just feel like they can
Say things,
say whatever they
yeah,
want
without,
without any
and
repercussions
just because the
because
repercussions aren't visibly there, or like they don't happen to you in real life because you're saying it through an internet screen and a keyboard, that doesn't mean it's not happening.
and just because it's on the internet doesn't mean, I think people need to understand that idols are people, like celebrities are people. They're walking human beings just like you are. They go to work just like you. They learn just like you. They are just put in front of a camera and have a bigger, limelight because they're a celebrity. And it's just crazy to me how people feel like they can treat whoever they want, however they want, if and not feel anything after being incredibly rude to idols. So I just feel like this is a huge example of social media and what it's capable of doing to people.
Yeah. For me too,
Like it just makes me
it
sad.
does, especially for me, because I texted you guys right after Sully happened.
Hmm.
I think the hardest part of her passing specifically was she was very vocal about the way she was being treated. She was very vocal about having depression. She told
Hmm.
everyone. She would tell people on shows. She was always asking for help, and SM never did anything.
Or people thought she was being
Yeah,
needy
or
and
people thought she
just
was being eccentric and overdramatic. Like they always thought, ever since she left FX, they pretty much switched to calling her weird and eccentric because she was doing what she wanted to do and she wasn't fitting that mold of her
hmm.
her visual and like what she was when she was in FX. Um, but that was just really hard to deal with because she was always talking on Instagram lives how she was feeling. In Instagram posts, she was telling people how she was feeling. In interviews, she would tell people how she was feeling. She was very vocal about it. And like you don't usually get like some people who suffer from depression, they don't openly talk about it like that.
No, not at all.
And for
Like,
her to do that and not
jeez.
be heard, that was tough for me, especially since she was my
I can't,
bias.
yeah, I can't even imagine. I literally can't imagine you dealing with depression
And telling
and then
people
dealing with
you're,
all the hate
but also telling
from,
people on top of it, like dealing
yeah,
with the depression, dealing with the hate from the social media and then getting it like every day, but still telling people. That's why I think I started this with saying like it's crazy, is because she was so vocal. So basically, if anybody in your life tells you that they're dealing with something, take them seriously.
I don't know how much more it'll take for people to really listen
Yeah, like how can
to
you,
like the mental health of others and how to take that more seriously, especially when it comes to idols or like to take it more seriously in South Korea.
and I mean
Like
it's
I don't
getting better in the fact that more people are being vocal about it, but there's still no steps to a solution or like a support system.
I get that, but I feel like that's only happening if more and more people commit suicide.
Yeah, and that's not what you want to
Like,
happen.
why else would that? Yeah,
And I
that's
mean, it
not what you
sucks
want at
because
all.
in the span of 3 months, we had Sulli pass away in October. November, Hara from Kara, Goo Hara from Kara passed away. Sorry, that's like a tongue twister saying their names back to.
Hmm.
And then December 3rd, there was a rookie actor who also committed suicide. And that's just in in 3 months. There was an idol every month. Like what more does the industry need to do
I'm
something?
not really. I'm not sure because that's a lot.
It is. Yeah, I mean, you see where I'm coming from though, right? Like that tells you something is going on. Like do something. 3 people in 3 months? I don't know. That's just
Like, or do you really? Yeah, I think industries really need to understand who, like, the people they're hiring and helping become idols. They're people too. I feel like it's just a lot of stuff that goes on, and industries really do need to realize that their idols aren't machines either, and they need to implement more things for mental health, whether they think an idol needs it or not. I feel like everyone needs it. I just know the only thing that has been trying to change is like the comment sections on articles. I think they're trying to get rid of those now after that
yeah,
happened.
I think either no, Naver, no, Cacao. Naver still has comments because I still comment on things.
Well, what was the biggest one? What was
Cacao,
the biggest platform?
Cacao,
That
which
was
which
for
isn't it linked with
Sully?
Naver? Yeah, it was for Sully. It
Yeah,
was
I think it
after.
was Naver
Okay, it must be certain
because it was a
articles
huge
then.
one. It was a huge company
It
that
must
was doing it, and a lot of people were mad about it.
Daum, Cacao and Daum. Saying that is Cacao and Naver are also linked though. I think maybe not because Naver's got line. Um,
Hmm.
it was web portal Daum Daum cut the comment section, and I was right. I was like, it's someone with cacao. They cut their comment section. Yeah, people were upset about it, which why are you gonna be upset about that? Like what the actual
Because people
F?
can't shit talk anymore.
I know. I just
I try so hard not to curse during these
I know.
episodes, but like I get so emotional when it comes to when it comes to people's health, and it's just crazy to me, but at least someone or like a company is trying to take the steps, whether they're doing it in a positive way or not. Like at least they're getting rid of comments because I'm sure that was a large majority of the reason why.
Yeah, it was the comments. And like you're not gonna be able to stop Instagram, that sort of thing. But even just seeing a company take a step like that, it's still I still sit here and I'm like, what more needs to happen for the entertainment industry itself to do something? But for a comment platform, like a social media platform, to be like, oh, we might be part of the problem because we don't have a way to filter these
Hmm.
types of comments. Like on YouTube, for example, they um, hold off on
They
posting.
take down videos and
Yeah,
don't
well,
even ask
they
people
yeah,
about it.
but they also have this thing on their comment section for people who put out videos. If it's
You can tag like racial slurs and it automatically blocks the
yeah,
comment.
or if it seems like it's a potentially harmful comment, there's a option on your YouTube account where you can
Oh yeah.
select like pause, hold posting potentially harmful comments for review. That's an option on
Mhm.
YouTube. And so like for a company like Kakao to be like, we are part of the problem and since we don't have a way to filter comments like this, we're just going to take down the whole thing. I think that I think that's a step in the right direction, but it's only one company that did it.
If I had the money, I'd hire an entire team and I'd tell them to look for these people's IP addresses and figure out who these people are and ban them on all social media platforms. And that way, they have nothing else to do with their lives other than go to work and live in the now. That's what I would want. Somebody.
Lacey's basically saying, "Get off your oh, get." Speaking of not crushed,
You can go ahead.
I was- get off your ass, get away from your computer screen, go get some fresh air, be nice to people.
Yeah, just be nice. And if you have nothing
Nice
like
to
nice to say
say.
about someone, then don't say
I
it.
think we've been through this
Cuz
too with one of our last. I think it was our fall, or our summer recap episode when I was talking about Zico being bullied off of Instagram.
yeah,
If you don't like someone, don't pay attention to them. It is so much more deteriorating to your own mental health and happiness to fixate on something that makes you upset than it is to just ignore it and move on and go do something that makes you happy.
and I'll give you an example. I used to be so angry at Kanye West and everything he did, and it made me so mad. I was angry all the time because I kept seeing stuff about him on my timelines on my social media platforms, and I would comment stuff sometimes. I wasn't sending death threats like some of you crazy people out there, but
That actually
I
reminds
was
me
upset.
too. Sorry, continue.
And one day I was just like, you know what? I don't need it. So I literally unfollowed people that would talk about Kanye or would retweet anything about him. I didn't care if it was my friends or what.
Well, Twitter has a thing now that you can filter what kind of content you want to see. Um,
Oh no, it's one and done. I'm unfollowing.
no, I understand that, but that's just another heads up for people. If you're not aware, if you're seeing content that you don't want to see, there's a little drop down option on Twitter and you can like filter certain things that you don't want to see anymore. You can also soft block people too. That's actually a thing. And that will keep them
I've never heard of that.
there. I forget how to do it, but I'm either one extreme or the other. You're either being blocked
Yeah.
completely or you're not. There's a way to soft block people.
Nah, man.
Not
You
me though.
know, I've also started blocking companies that promote stuff on my timeline. So I'm wondering when Twitter's going to notice I'm doing that.
I don't care about this advertisement. Don't care about this
I mute them
advertisement.
and everything. So one day I'm not going to have any ads when I'm scrolling.
Every company around the world is gonna be muted by
So wait, there's
Lacey.
just one IP address where she has no ads and
We're not getting
we don't
any
know
revenue.
we don't know what her viewpoint is, and I don't know, I kind of want to see what she's like. So maybe we can target her audience like she's the only one.
Oh.
But ending on
Well, I was gonna
trying
say,
to make this as lighthearted as we can, but at the end of the day, don't put out nasty stuff that
yeah,
has
don't be mean.
repercussions. Like take it back to the old saying. I don't know how it goes, but would you really like any nasty comment you put out there? Would you say it to yourself?
Do unto others as they would do unto
Some,
you. Something to that effect. That's like
yeah. And there's another one. Treat others the
the
way
way
you
you want
want
to
to
be
be treated.
treated. Yeah. It was what were they had
Those
the
two.
posters in elementary school. At my school they had posters and there were like little cartoons
Hmm.
for each of the
You never realize how like relevant those words are until you're older.
until you're older and you see the things happening every day. On the topic though
Yeah.
of treating your artists like people, I've got
I feel like this is the whole podcast
true.
episode.
There's some good stuff on the end that we're gonna end it nicely on. But I first
Yeah, but I feel like the overall thing is like treating your idols with the respect that they deserve.
And the other general mood is Choom has a lot of people on a hit list that she wants to fight.
I have nothing to say. It is what it is.
Oh. Wonho is the next topic of discussion, though, which is why I want to fight so bad. I'm just gonna take a trip to Korea and like set up camp outside a Starship, and I'm not even gonna set up camp outside. Like, just
You're like, it was you.
I'm gonna sit there in front of the door and be like, "You need to pay attention
Do you
to
have
me, or you cannot come in. Do you have a meeting to get to?
do you
I'm
have clearance?
sorry, you're gonna be like 10 minutes late."
Can I see your last Twitter comments in the past 24 hours, please? Before I let you through. Thank you. Can I see your Tumblr too? It's a new thing we're doing over here. It's clearance.
Everyone would hate me. Dang.
I think you're very thorough,
When it comes to Monster X and Block B, probably. I
but you can continue.
I don't even know how to start with this one either. Like, what everyone knows by now that Wonho left Monster X for various reasons, but most of it was because of a bunch of events that kind of spiraled out of control, and then a person that we do not like who has butted her head in where she wasn't really wanted or needed in the past before.
Choom has like personal beef with this woman.
I feel like I
I'm
know her now.
I feel like she knows her. Like regular conversation, this girl's name pops up.
I don't hate anyone in this world, but she comes pretty close to it. I will tell you that. I feel like you know her now. That just she butted her head in where she wasn't needed though, and then things got worse and blew out of proportion. And Wonho decided to terminate his contract without really talking to anybody, and Starship agreed because Wonho was afraid of the negative effect it would have on his group members, which is very honorable, but at the same time, Wonho, why didn't you talk to anybody?
I I just feel like he's the sophist
He
boy,
is, and that's why I'm like,
and
what?
he probably just panicked and just didn't know what
I
else
mean,
to
I
do. Like
know,
sometimes
I
you just
get
don't
it, I
know.
get it. I would do the same thing, but knowing that I would do the same thing and knowing what his personality is, I'm just like, you, why didn't you talk to someone? Just talk to someone. Wonho, why?
Well, I'm sure he's learned, you know. Maybe a lot of people just don't know how to talk to people. It's very hard. It's hard to ask for help.
I know, I just, why him?
It's okay. I get it,
Why?
but we have to respect why he did what he
And
did.
I do, like, that's a very honorable thing that he did, but he didn't talk to any of the group members. Like, they didn't know. They thought everything was normal, and then it just got crazy
We
from
just
there
woke up the
too.
next
Yeah,
morning like, where is he?
he left. His luggage is
He's not at breakfast. He normally cooks breakfast. What's going on?
gone. I do want to clarify though that I think the way this whole thing started is really crazy and made me really mad. There's a story behind all of this where I I don't even know when it happened, but a fan cam from February from their alligator promotions of last year, 2019, started circulating where Wonho and I think it was Minhyuk were talking, and Minhyuk was saying something and Wonho said, "Me too," and raised his hand like, "I want to talk next." And oh, I remember what they were talking about. Minhyuk was talking in reference to something that happened in the 2018 World Tour. There's actually a picture of it that's floated around before. Wonho's earpiece fell onto his chest and was like hanging next to his nipple, and the members started making fun of him, calling it Mr. Nipple, and they were like holding the microphone up to Wonho and his
Hmm.
nipple and asking questions, like interviewing his nipple, basically, is what it was. And
Yeah.
it became a joke among the fandom. Like the whole fandom, Mom Baby thought it was funny. And then at that fan sign, a fan asked something, and Minhyuk was talking about that and was like interviewing Wonho's nipple again. And then Wonho raised his hand because whatever Minhyuk had said garnered the reaction of like, "Oh, I want to talk next." And so,
Like, I want to talk. Like, my nipple said enough.
yeah.
I too would like
Yeah,
to
so
comment
Wonho
on.
raised his hand and he went, "Me too, like me next." None of the fans there at the event were upset about it. None of
I
them
just feel
said
like
anything.
if you guys watch that video, you
You'd
would
be
never
able.
think it was the Me Too movement.
Yeah, no. And so it blew up months later, like half a year later, it blew up into this whole thing where Wonho was talking about the Me Too movement and making fun of it all the way in October. And this fan cam was from February, and nobody said a thing about it from the fan sign that day. Like, I follow at least 3 people that do K-pop album goes and were in Korea at the time. That were at the fan sign, and all of them were like, nothing, there was not, this is not what is happening, like this is not what's actually going on. But it blew out of proportion, and no one listened, despite the situation being explained and despite people saying like, watch the whole entire fan cam and you'll understand what was going on. Nobody listened.
This just proves how dumb social media can really be.
And it shows
This is like,
how easily people will believe like the first words that are said.
yeah, because you compare that to like false articles. Just any news article where someone can read the title and then just take assumption on what it's going to be about. And then it spreads like wildfire. That is literally what happened
And
here.
that, yeah. And at that point, I understand why Wonho did leave, because he probably felt like at that point it was just completely out of his control. Like there was no damage control to be done.
Yeah,
Maybe.
that's a
Be-
like what they're claiming him for was a really hot topic to be blamed for and not a good one. So I get why he just didn't talk to anyone cuz I mean, they all seem really close and I'm sure he was just like I don't want anyone to have a bad rep because
because
of
of
me.
me, yeah.
Like so I'm just going to leave and figure it out from there.
But it
And then
sucks.
yeah,
And then from there it got
it
worse.
really
I don't want to
does.
talk about it too much in depth because I think there's stuff going on, and Mom Baby are trying to keep things like on the down low. But my
Oh my
favorite
gosh. Great job, by the
my,
way.
to Mon Baby or to me?
You're a mom baby,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
But I'm saying, okay, so I mean, I am too, but can I? The support is crazy. I've
The
just never
tags have
seen.
trended every day, and even if they don't stay in the top trends for like the whole day, they trend for the first 5 hours of when they're released. Like the tags are
I
still
just,
going. It's been 4 months now.
I think that's so insane
January,
that
3 months.
the support is that strong, so strong. So I know he sees that, and I know because of that he's not in a bad space from what's been released recently. I say that because of like those images that popped up.
Yeah, he seemed like he was healthy still, so that's good. But Miss Han So Hee got involved, and
That's her best friend. That's Chum's best friend.
my best friend got involved, and completely threw things even more out of proportion by making a claim on behalf of her girlfriend, who was Wonho's ex a very long time ago, and they were still friends up until like a year ago. Um, Han So Hee made a claim for her girlfriend on behalf of her girlfriend that Wonho owed money, and then it just completely blew out of proportion because as soon as Han So Hee says something, it just spreads like
I just
wildfire.
don't get this
I don't
girl.
either. How is she relevant?
I just don't get how she's still credible. You know, like her words still have impact.
I don't either.
Like, if
That's been
you
going on
connect
for
all these dots,
years.
like she's been involved in so much,
Top
and
Taehyung.
no one's just been like, you know what?
Maybe.
I'm not gonna associate
Yeah,
with her
maybe
anymore.
I
She's
shouldn't believe her. Nobody
maybe
nobody
we
has said
should all just ignore her.
Mom and Baby have done a pretty good job of doing that. After the initial like panic, then she kept
Hmm.
trying to start saying other things. And Mom and Baby just like ignored her. They were like, okay.
Yeah, because she wants to be a topic. So what better way than to talk shit about somebody and have it spread like wildfire?
I just don't understand people.
She's so weird.
She's so
She needs help.
she is should make a episode just of her. I think she'd have too much gratification from that.
I feel like she'd like that, so let's not.
I just some of the things though, I just sit here and I'm like, so you said this, but now you're doing this. Like for example, Jung Da-eun was in transition before stopping it during like the final phases.
Hmm.
She decided she changed her mind. Literally, Han So-hee was like, I am against same-sex dating, marriage. Like, I don't support people who transition. Like, I think they're disgusting. She said shit like that. And then she started dating Jung Da-eun. Make it make sense for me?
How do y'all do this? How are y'all? How? Like, do you ignore everything? I don't know. It's just really funny. It's not funny.
It's
It's just
ironic.
really, but it's weird.
Yeah, no.
Like, the I know these idols know about her because so many people have connections with her.
Yeah, how did
And
she know
for
everybody?
because this isn't the only thing she's been involved with a lot,
Yeah.
and it's concerning. So my thing is just like, y'all know this. So why are you falling for her? Like,
The
it's
mystery
too
of the
it's
century.
like she's crazy, and I don't is this you? Like, what is this? This is weird. You as in like the Netflix show, not as in like the idol. Like, she's crazy, but I don't know. We won't know. We wouldn't have. We won't know unless we were there through the entire process. So
Good news though, for the end of the episode. Guess what, Lacey? Guess what happened in
the boys
November?
are
The
back.
boys are back.
The reason why we're here recording this
It's
episode.
just to tell you that Big Bang is back.
Oh my goodness! Like, they all literally came
And the same, like,
back to back.
yeah, back to so Top was just I can't speak. Top
You're just so
was
excited you can't even speak.
discharged first in
Hmm.
July. And then literally in October, November, back to back, G Dragon, Daesung, Taeyong, they all came back too. And I was just like, this is great. Everybody in the same year.
They look literally the same.
They do. They don't look like they aged.
They haven't
They haven't
changed.
changed. They look great. I'm so happy though. And then Top pulled a Houdini on the press. That was hilarious. That was such a Top thing to do. That was just such a Top thing to do. He was like, "Yeah, we're gonna be
And how VIPs were in on it too.
Yeah, that was so
That was
cool.
just so
I
cute.
love I love VIPs and the relationship with Big Bang. That's like the original like best friend fans and group being best friends. That's like the original, the OP.
The OGs.
OP too, overpowered. But yes, OG too.
Oh yeah.
I meant what I said.
Yeah, yeah,
But yes, I
yeah.
just
I said what I
I
said.
said what I said, Lacey. Don't question it.
Okay.
um,
I won't.
it was great
I'm just
though.
gonna sit back
He
here.
was like, we're gonna be here," and all of the press were there. And then he went into a secret meeting under like
How did they not
I
know?
don't know.
I don't know. They didn't know.
Honestly, though, Big Bang has an older fan base now, so everybody was probably like really mature about it. Like, we're not gonna give anything away. G Dragons was funny too, though. He had a crowd of 3,000 fans there. There was a baby that he like accepted a wreath or something from. It was adorable. He
That was pretty cute.
he gave the reporters, they kept asking him like such standard questions, and you could tell he was just not having it. He was just like, I'm bored, like, can I go, please? Which is such a G Dragon thing to do too. I was just like, man, this is really great. I'm so glad they're back. Because you can always tell when G Dragon is just like 200% done with something. And then Daesung and Taeyong were discharged together, and they handed out snacks to the fans that were there. I don't know how many were there, but G Dragon had a lot, but I don't know how many they had. But they gave snacks to everybody. And now they're going to
Everybody's
Coachella.
back together. Yeah, I saw that, and they're like, this is a topic for another
Yeah,
day.
no,
Can they
seriously.
handle Coachella? Are they even
Yeah, oh
capable? Are they
my
at
god.
that level?
That's what I was gonna ask. Have you seen the tweets of everybody being like, can they even handle Coachella? Man, they've
Honestly,
got
I saw the mention of Coachella. I was like, oh, this is like a joke. They're not really
no,
gonna
they're
be at
really going
Coachella,
to Coachella.
but they're really gonna be at Coachella.
It's so funny
I
though
would,
seeing people react the way they have that don't know Big Bang because it's like this group has been around for a decade. They could do
I would literally go to Coachella just for them.
they could have their own concert at Coachella, their own stage, like a whole day long stage of them just performing all of
It's
their
so
songs.
exhausting.
I yeah.
Don't do that.
No, I mean obviously not, but do you see my point? People are like, "Can they even handle Coachella?"
Yeah,
Yeah, they've got like more songs than your fave
they would
group.
sell out if they did another world tour. Are you kidding me? They would sell out.
We're not going to talk about the world tour. I'm still very sad.
Look, they might do just one
16-year-old
more.
me is very upset.
Yeah. Well, guess what? I am too. Same with Shiny, and I probably should have went to a BTS one too.
Yeah, BTS concerts are so expensive now. I still regret. I
Yeah, that's
have
what I'm saying.
one
Like,
album.
I should have just went.
I have one album just because I saw it at Target and I was like, oh my god, it's affordable.
I have the
They hit like
I only have one album
they
too.
hit Dark and Wild era, and after that, their albums just got progressively more expensive, and I was like, oh, I say I can't
Maybe it
afford
won't be
it,
that
but
bad when they
then
come to Atlanta again.
I say I can't.
I just know I have to go.
I say I can't afford their albums though, or I used to not be able to, but now Monster X drops 4 versions, and I'm like, let's get all 4.
I can afford it. I need to go to their concert too and AT's before they like blow up, blow up. I
ATEEZ's
feel like it's gonna
tickets
happen.
are twice as expensive as they were from last year. Oh.
That's what I'm saying. I
And
need to just go to
they
one.
gave me 2 days or 2 weeks to prepare, and I thought that was not enough time. And now Monster X is like, hey, you get 4 days.
You really just need to have a savings account for
No, I
concerts
do.
though.
And luckily for Monster X, as soon as I went to the concert in August, I was already saving for like this year. But I wasn't expecting a tease. And since I got a speeding ticket the last time I went to see Monster X,
Hmm.
I had to dip into my savings for concerts because I was like, oh shit.
You gotta be an adult, pay for those.
So that happened. So I was like, okay, well, I'll just start saving money for Monster X. It's fine. And then a tease were like, right before Christmas, they were like, hey, concert. And I was like, I'm not prepared, you guys. I'm prepared for Monster X's. That's fine. But
Yeah, I'd really like to go. I'd really like to go, but money wise, I can't imagine that right now. So we'll see. I'm just gonna have to live through you and Robbie.
if I if Big Bang go on tour again though, I'm not doing that one alone. Someone, you, Robbie, Rachel, someone has to go with me.
Well, we're all gonna meet at a middle point.
Okay, good.
We're all gonna have to fly somewhere.
Okay, good. Because
That's
it's
the
Big
thing.
Bang.
Yeah, we're all gonna have to fly somewhere and do that. But I'd spend the money for that too. I'd spend the money for any K-pop concert if I'm being completely honest. I'd spend it there. I don't really go to anything else. Like I go to Selection when they have their concerts, and I go to like I went to Ari Lennox. That's the last artist I went to see. She was really good. Xavier Omar, but they're not charging $100 for a ticket. It's really affordable.
Yeah. I mean, Atiza's first concert was pretty affordable. Like the tickets, because all they had was VIP or general. And the general was like 60 something dollars.
No, girl, I've paid $45 for tickets. That's how inexpensive I'm talking. But like, I mean, I don't like spending money, so anything over $5, I'm just like, I don't know, man.
I don't think I need to eat tonight.
Is it worth it? They're gonna be feeding us there.
uh,
But I really would like to go to the concerts. It's just a matter of if I can.
I feel that.
I know you're gonna go.
Well, Atiz and Monster X, yeah, but I think for the rest of the year, I've pretty much limited it to
What if BTS is like, we're doing another one? Would you go?
probably not. I didn't go to the first. I wasn't even interested in the first. I think just because the prices.
I want to
I
go.
mean, I would go if I had friends going, I feel like, but for me to just like, for a tease, Monster X, Zico, or Block B, my olds, I have no qualms going on my own. Like, I'm fine with that. For
I'm just
others,
gonna have to go to South Korea so I can go see BTS because there is gonna be better in South Korea. I feel like it's just gonna be worth it. So that's when I go.
probably not as much competition, too, of tickets selling out.
Honestly.
Uh, okay, well, we ended on a good note, but
Yeah,
fall was really tough.
it was. How did you feel about 2019? Or should I save that for next episode?
Yeah, maybe next episode. I think we're heading it
Okay, well,
pretty.
you guys can't hear that answer.
Joke's on you.
Fools.
Thanks for listening, though, you guys. If you stuck around this long, um,
Yes.
where do we want them to follow us this time?
I just like Twitter.
Yeah, we're more active on Twitter, so if you want to follow us at Bingu and Choom, we're always on Twitter, passive aggressively tweeting each other from the same same account.
Yeah, it's just easier to just post random stuff on Twitter than it is on our other social platforms. So that one's just the best one for right now. I mean, if you want to follow us on our other ones, you can. You know, you can do whatever you want.
It's all at Bingo and Choom. It's straight across the board. You can find us anywhere
Listen to
if
your
you try
heart.
hard enough.
But I guess we'll see you in the next episode.
Bye, guys.
Bye.